Hello, welcome to Heal Her with Plants. Thank you so much for joining my channel. I wanted to come and share with you all why plant-based saved my life. If you are interested in learning how plant-based saved my life, I'm going to give you a few pointers on how it helped me, and I really want you to stick around to the third one because it's going to really shock your mind. But thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like, go ahead and subscribe, and let's get right into the talk. All right, again, this is Heal Her with Plants. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for my returning visitors. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed to this channel. We are well on our way because we want to inform and educate people about why plant-based is such a healthy alternative, even if it's for a short term, or if you have short-term or even longer-term goals. So I want to share with you why I decided to go plant-based. So I'm going to get into the details if you stick around, but overall, plant-based has been, it's been an adventure for me. It is greatly, it's greatly required for you to be, it's been an adventure for me. It is it's been an adventure for me. You definitely have to build discipline, but it has taught me so much. Now, one of the reasons I believe plant-based saved my life, number one, I learned a couple of years ago that I was anemic. I'm not sure if anybody has ever experienced this before, and if the camera is shaking, please excuse me. I am holding it right now because the lighting is in front of me, and the lighting should always be in front of you. I learned a couple of years ago that I was anemic, and I was always cold. I know I had people in my family that were always saying, well, we're cold nature. But I was just uncomfortably cold. You ever felt that cold where you're just cold in your hands, cold in your feet, and nothing that you did, you were always uncomfortable? And I'm thinking something is wrong with that. And so what did I do? I do what most of us do. I went to Google, good old Google, and I did some investigation. I put my Slewfoot detective mode on. And then I realized that coldness is not natural. Now, again, most of my life I've experienced cold hands and cold feet, and you'll hear people say, oh, cold hands means a warm heart. And while that is so endearing and it sounds nice, it's an indicator that something is wrong. So I went to my primary care doctor, and she began to offer and suggest testing. And I was like, well, what should I do? And she asked me about my just certain habits. How are you sleeping? How is this? How is that? Just certain, I guess, symptoms she was looking for. And I told her, I think everything is fine. I think she asked me about my menstrual cycle, and that's when things began to hit me. I started thinking a little bit different. I'm thinking, why would she ask me about my menstrual cycle? She asked me, was I on any type of medication? She told me that it's possible that I needed to maybe incorporate some more red meat in my diet. So I began to think about certain things that she was saying. And at the time, I was working with a doctor, a medical doctor, actually in my career. And so I asked him, or actually it was her, I asked her a few questions like, how do you build your blood? Like, I never even knew that was a thing. I just knew that I was anemic, and I always figured, okay, you're anemic, it's something in your blood, it's genetic, maybe it won't go away. And this doctor told me the best way to combat or build up your blood, she said, eat prunes. You want to eat dates, prunes, which I've heard about prunes before. I'm not a fan. And she said it's really about your diet. So it really made me think a little bit more, okay, you're telling me anemia is brought on because of a lack of blood, or you have low blood. Now, my doctor is telling me eat red meat. But here this doctor, and this doctor happened to be Indian that I was working with, this doctor is telling me to eat more fruit, dried fruits, prunes and dates. And she even went on further and was saying, well, have you tried maybe some greens? So I started again. I started thinking. My brain just goes, when people give me information, my brain starts just turning. The wheels start turning. So I'm thinking, okay, one doctor is saying eat red meat. The other doctor is saying eat fruit, dates and beans and prunes. So 2 different doctors. They're both, of course, skilled and educated. But 2 of them are telling me 2 different things. Now, my primary care doctor really didn't focus much on food. She was more like, well, would you like to go get some iron pills? I can give you a prescription for some iron pills. We can do this. We're going to watch it. And you know what most doctors do? They watch you for about 6 months. So she said, I'm going to watch you for a few months, and I'm going to make you, I'm going to set an appointment for you to come back. I came back. Very little change within my lifestyle. I didn't really know what to do. And it's hard to change when you don't have the tools and information and or resources to make a change. So often we hear people say make a change, but if you don't know how to change, it can be difficult. So I started asking more questions. And let me tell you all, what I started finding on YouTube and the internet, it blew my mind, because I didn't know that greens helped you to build blood, and because you need iron in your blood and you need folate and magnesium. I didn't know all of these things. And so I started doing more research, and I found that eating more foods that are nutrient dense, my leafy greens, your cruciferous vegetables, your beets, your beans, and then maybe trying to stay away from your sugary foods, your sugary drinks, your sodas, your cakes, your snacks, your rice, your pastas. I didn't realize how all of that turns into sugar, and they weren't really giving me the nutrients, the dense nutrients that I needed. So my body was pretty much starving. So being anemic, we know it's very important, because I was tired, sluggish all the time. I couldn't stay up. There would be times with my job that I would be doing something, and all of a sudden I just felt this crash. I wanted to go to sleep, and I could be actually driving. I could be going to a client's location. I could be meeting someone for business, and all of a sudden I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm in a funk. I had no energy. I felt depleted and drained. And what's so crazy is that the night before, I may have gotten a decent amount of sleep. Now, maybe not the necessary hours, maybe not 7 to 8, but possibly close to 7, maybe 6.5, closer to 7. But I just felt so drained. I felt like I was working the graveyard shift. I felt like I was working a graveyard shift. And I'm just like, something has to give. So I started doing more research. And then I found that many people had reversed their anemia. I started looking up, okay, how do you reverse anemia? Because I'm big on learning how to reverse things, because there was one situation in my life, another medical scenario. I was at the dentist, and the dentist was telling me, well, we're going to look at this cavity. We have a potential cavity in one of your back molars, that we see a spot, and we're just going to kind of look at it. And so what happened, I had my next follow-up in 6 months, and I changed a lot within my lifestyle. I started, of course, we don't maybe floss as regularly as we should. I started flossing and brushing my teeth and doing everything I needed to do. But I also incorporated more water and more fruit and vegetables. When I went back, they said, your teeth look immaculate. Your teeth are amazing. We don't see anything wrong. So there was a clue right there for me that I needed to change something, and I didn't know exactly what to change. So what I did was, when it came to anemia, I started just researching all the iron-rich foods. So I started eating more beans. I started eating beets. I started juicing, more greens, leafy vegetables. So my kale, your spinach, your romaine, everything green, I was eating it. And then I was eating more berries. I found that berries were great, not only just antioxidants, but blood-building food. So your blueberries, your strawberries, your raspberries, all of that. I started incorporating like loads and loads and loads of that kind of food, and making sure that my body was absorbing it. And then when I went back, my blood levels went up, y'all. When I went back to the doctor, now this took probably, because it was off and on, it took about a year. I felt better. I had more energy. I looked better. I didn't look drained like a zombie. And I realized that my health was improving. So plant-based really helped me in that way, because I was so depleted because I was anemic, and I didn't know I was anemic, and I didn't realize I was suffering from anemia and low blood. for years. I was just always tired and didn't understand why. So it saved my life in that for lifestyle change and performance, helping me to get the energy that I needed to do what I need to do. Because sometimes, let's be honest, y'all, we just don't feel like doing anything. And because I didn't feel like doing anything, I didn't have any drive, any motivation. And so if you're that person that you know that you need to make a change in your diet or just your lifestyle because you don't have any energy, you're not motivated, you feel depleted, you know that you don't like your life the way it is, but it just seems like something is wrong, you might want to think about that. Go get your blood work done at your doctor's and ask them to check your blood levels. See if you are anemic, if you're always cold, if you're always tired, you feel sluggish all the time, no energy. I had all of those symptoms and I had no idea I was anemic. And then if I heard it from family members, but we kind of brushed it off like, okay, well, that was you. That may not be my story, but that was your story. But sure enough, because of lifestyle, and again, not necessarily genetics, but more so lifestyle, the lifestyle that I incorporated from certain habits with meals and food preparation, I had adapted that into my life, not realizing how it would affect me. So the plant-based lifestyle helped me by increasing, it changed my life, it saved my life by increasing my energy and helping me to come on here and tell other people about the powerful effects of plant-based and how it will change your life and give you energy and the energy boost you need. And in addition to the diet and changing everything, I also started adding supplements such as B12, vitamin D, even a prenatal vitamin. Now, whether or not, you're looking to get pregnant, at that time for me, I was not looking to get pregnant, but I saw all the nutrients and benefits that taking a prenatal vitamin had. So I said, why not? And whatever I don't need, my body will eliminate it in waste. So don't worry about overtaking your vitamins. Our bodies need them. And so much of our resources of our food are stripped of nutrients within the supermarket. By the time the grocers get any produce, the produce has been out for so long, it's been out of the ground, and it does not have the same nutrients that it had maybe 20, 30, 100 years ago. So whatever nutrients and supplements that we can get, we need to get all we can get. Number 2, plant-based saved my life because what I learned with plant-based, our foods what we eat directly impact our mental health. I found myself feeling down, feeling depressed sometimes, and again, not realizing that it was because of what I was eating. It was because of the lack of nutrients, the junky food, the chips, the cookies, the cakes, the pies, the rice, the pastries, everything that I should not have been eating. I was eating more of that than the nutrient-dense foods. And when you eat more bad, you have little to no room for the good. And so as I started reversing that, filling up on salads and instead of bread, because I'm a bread eater. I don't know if anybody else, comment below if you're a bread eater. Some people, they just, we just fill up on junk, breads, cookies, chips. Never really was a big candy person, but like just all the fluffy food. When I say fluffy food, the food that just fills you up and it doesn't satisfy you. So I was just eating a bunch of junk. I had a girlfriend one time tell me, because at one point I felt like I was underweight. And she was like, well, girl, just go to Hardee's and get you a biscuit. Get you a Hardee's biscuit and egg and cheese. So every morning I was going to eat a biscuit and egg, listening to somebody else instead of listening to my body. But changing my lifestyle, changing my diet, or just I'm not going to say diet, changing my lifestyle, my food habits really elevated my mental health. I began to get so focused that it was unbelievable. It's like I went from just a slug to a rabbit, if I could use that metaphor. Like I just was so slow and drained. And then on top of that, my mental health was declining. Some days were really bad where I just didn't want to do anything. I did not have any unction, no drive. I felt down sometimes. I was sad. There were times that I was coming from work and I was crying and I didn't understand what was going on. I knew it wasn't PMS because it may not have ever been anywhere near my menstrual cycle or my monthly, but it was just something that was wrong. And I would be driving home, and I mean, I'm literally in tears, and I'm crying. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why am I dealing with this? What's going on? And as soon as I started, maybe I give it 2 weeks, as soon as I started changing my lifestyle, incorporating more nutrient-dense foods, eating more veggies and more raw veggies. I do cook foods, but more raw than cooked. Drinking more water, adding lemon juice to my water, cleaning out my colon, making sure that my mind was clear, my gut was clear, and then my mind was clear. Completely different. My mind elevated. My habits changed. The patterns changed. I was able to get up in the morning. I felt invigorated. I felt encouraged, and I had more drive to even work out. Like, it just changed so much. And not only, here's the last one. So thank you so much for watching if you stayed this long. Not only did it change my health for the better as far as my blood, as well as my energy, my mental health, but y'all, let me tell you, going plant-based, what it really did, it helped me to save some coins. And I don't know about you, I hear people say all the time that going plant-based is so expensive. I find that if you are a person that eats like a lot of boxed foods, a lot of processed plant-based foods, like the veggie burgers, the bean burgers, the chick nuggets, like all the processed fake stuff that you're trying to find alternative to meats, the snacks, even some of the vegan snacks, I've learned that stuff gets expensive, just like eating Doritos, Oreos, any crazy foods. That stuff is expensive if it comes in a bag. Whereas if I'm eating an apple, if I'm having a peanut butter, apple, dates kind of snack, I'm not spending as much money, and it lasts longer. The shelf life is a little bit longer. And it's healthier. It's healthier. So I save money. I cut my grocery bill. Now, I'm the only meat eater in my household. I'm the only veggie, like straight plant-based eater in my household. Now, I do have, there are some people who they may eat a salad here or there, but for the most part, everybody else is eating meats with their meals. They're carnivores. I am for the most part an herbivore. And I have saved so much more money. I plan my meals around the plants and the vegetables. I plan my meals around the vegetables that I eat or that we eat, and it makes all the difference. I'm eating more root vegetables, and so we're trying to eat vegetables that are in season, and I'm seeing a big difference. Whereas the meal, we don't center the meal around just the meat. The meat is another side, but if I have all these luscious greens and veggies and soups, and then I add the meat to that, then that's good for the carnivores in the household. But for me, I'm seeing a wealth of stretch. There's so much stretch with the plants, especially if you're eating in season, especially if you're getting those heartier vegetables, the kales, the greens, the carrots, the cabbages. They last a little bit longer, and I save so much money instead of allowing stuff to just go to waste, buying things that you're not going to eat or things that are going to spoil very quickly. So that's how going plant-based saved my life. I love it. Some days are harder than others. I have had times where I have relapsed, but everything is going well. We're going to keep going and keep moving. And if we fall, we're going to get up and keep going again. So I wanted to share that with you. Heal Her with Plants. Plant-based saved my life. Mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally. And if you're considering going plant-based, just comment below plant-based. And maybe we can have another conversation, or I can put another video about how you can remain consistent and maintain that upward mobility with plant-based. All right. Again, this is Heal Her with Plants. Thank you for watching. If you watched this long, go on ahead and subscribe. Go on ahead and like. And I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.